Morning, Tara. All right, you guys can keep it coming. Our mission at Mentor Virginia is to foster quality mentoring relationships that empower, elevate, and encourage young people. We have a couple of our services listed below. We provide training and professional development. We'll work with your partner clients to build workshops according to their specific training needs. And we also help your organizations build capacity if they'd like to sign up or learn more about our AmeriCorps Vista program. We also offer no cost consulting in the form of technical assistance, and we can help you measure the quality of your program with the National Quality Mentoring System. And again, working with our consultants to measure your program quality. Before we begin, I want to introduce you to a couple of people on the call who are my lovely colleagues. We are a very, very strong team of women, very resilient, but also very sensitive, caring, and appreciative of the people in our network. Cindy is our AmeriCorps Vista leader. Virginia is our Youth Impact Coordinator, also an AmeriCorps Vista member. And Kinshasa is our Marketing and PR AmeriCorps Vista member. Tashara leads them all as our AmeriCorps Director. I already introduced myself, and Sarah Wilkinson is our Programs Manager and also does so much more. This is our current staff, and if you stick with us to the end, we do have a special announcement to you all. You'll be the first people to know. We've happily accepted and onboard, or we're about to onboard our new executive director, and I can't wait to share the information with you about who that person is at the end. So a couple more questions. This time we're going to go back to the chat box. As we stated, we are focused today. Our conversation is going to be around multi-generational or intergenerational mentoring. And so we're curious to know what brought you to this meeting today, even if it's not the topic, even if you just love Mentor Virginia and you just want to be here and, work and converse with your peers, that's great. But if you have any specific thoughts, please share them in the chat. And along that same lines, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts about intergenerational or multi-generational mentoring? And I would love to hear from someone else's voice besides myself. Can I get maybe ask Sarah to maybe read one or two comments of why people are here, why I drink my coffee during this coffee hour?
Yeah, nothing's come in the chat quite yet, but let's see, here we go. So Julie Sam says, I love coming to these, but this one specifically spoke to me because I work with families and sometimes the parents need a mentor and sometimes the kiddos need a mentor. Sandra Johnson says, I found this topic to be very interesting. And then Julie also chimed in that she's looking at this from several different angles. Linan Bop says, I attended last month's coffee hour and wanted to continue. In regard to multi-generational mentoring, I think it is extremely useful for young people to learn from older individuals and vice versa.
Thank you, Sarah, for giving my voice a break. Like I need more coffee. I think you guys could probably tell I don't. I've had my fair share this morning for you all. All right, final question before we introduce Kimberly. If you wouldn't mind pulling out your cell phones, if you have that ability. And we're going to do a poll. I'm going to ask you to text. So the phone number you'll use is 22333. And the message you're going to type in is my name, Tiara Whitfield, then the number 167 with no spaces. And I'm going to stop sharing really quickly to call up the poll so we can take a look at it together. It should already be activated. So if you want to go ahead and get started answering the question, you are free to do so, but I will pull it up on the screen in just a moment.
Will the screen have the, because I missed as well what to text.
Or you're going to text Tiara Whitfield to 167, but as soon as we get a chance, I will pull that right back up. And the number is 22333. And so Whenever you get a chance to type in or the answer to the question, we're going to hopefully see a word cloud of programs that we can connect with or just build our network with. The question or the statement I want you to answer is, please name the female-focused programs you know of in the community. Even if they're not only female-focused, but if they have a strong female element, please list them. Pretty Purposed is one of them. That's exciting to see that a lot of people know about Pretty Purposed. Bianca, are you here? Real Girls. Girls with a Z. All right, that's awesome. If for some reason you can't use the poll, feel free to type it into the chat. Hopefully we'll be able to come back to that. But again, just wanted a quick visual of some of the girls programs we know of in the area. A lot of our programs cater to both boys and girls, but there are those special programs in the community that focus on female empowerment and do use older girls or adult females to work with their girls. All righty, without further ado, I'm going to jump back to the presentation at hand and introduce Kimmy. Just give me one moment, please. I appreciate your patience through all the technical shifting. All right, Miss Kimmy Baston is the Managing Director of Strong Women, Strong Girls in Pittsburgh, where she combines her passion for service and leadership. She joined SWSG in December of 2017 as the Communications and Special Projects Associate. While working to build infrastructure and support systems for both staff and volunteers, Kimmy held several different roles within the organization and was ultimately promoted to her current role in October of 2022. Congratulations. SWSG is a mentoring organization that serves over 1,100 women and girls in Pittsburgh annually. In her role, Kimmy manages all activities and staff in the Pittsburgh office, oversees program and fundraising execution, spearheads all major organizational events, and liaises with the organization's CEO and board of directors. Kimmy is a member of the Pittsburgh Business Times 2020 class of 30 under 30 and a recipient of the 2021 Barbara McNee's Spirit of Athena Scholarship to attend CMU, which is Carnegie Mellon University's Executive Leadership Academy, advancing women in business. She currently lives in Pittsburgh and spends as much time with her parents, sister and brother-in-law, baby nephew, Gabrielle, and dog niece, Sophie. Before I turn it over to Kimmy, I want to answer one question that may be in all of your minds. Why is someone from Pittsburgh talking to us? And there are two reasons to answer that. One is definitely because of the program, Strong Women, Strong Girls. It's a great program. I'm very familiar with it as a former employee and also a former resident of the city of Pittsburgh. Also, expansion is on the horizon for the organization. And so they may very well work their way into being a Virginia neighbor, in the future. And so without further ado, Kimberly Baston, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. I will go ahead and share. I have just a few slides. I know visuals are often helpful. Let me pull up my notes here. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to meet you all. Happy Women's History Month. Happy belated International Women's Day yesterday. And I hope that you're having better weather than we are. It is snowing furiously here after being 65 degrees on Saturday, so I'm not thrilled. So I am so glad to be able to spread the word about Strong Women, Strong Girls to Mentor Virginia. As Tiara mentioned, I have been here for over 4 years at this point and believe so fully in our mission and what we're doing. Our mission in a nutshell is to empower both women and girls to imagine a broader future for themselves. And we do that by building a supportive community around every woman and girl that's in our program, and hopefully, give her the ability to dream and do whatever it is she would like to. So really quick, an overview of what SWSG is. I will most likely say SWSG for the rest of the conversation. That's how we typically refer to ourselves. We are a multi-generational mentoring organization.
Hey, Kim, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think there's a technical difficulty. Is everybody able to see her screen, or is anybody else just seeing a black box? Would you mind refreshing? There's just one person in the audience who can't see your presentation. Again, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Let's see. Let me just try again. All right, how are we?
Thank you. Please continue. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Hopefully everybody can see that now. So we're a multi-generational mentoring organization, as I mentioned, focused on empowering women and girls. And we serve roughly 700 elementary school girls in grades 3 to 5 at about 40 program sites in and around our city. So that's the bulk of our program. It's what we refer to as our core program, is mentoring those elementary school girls. And for the most part, we focus on reaching girls from under-resourced communities in and around the city. Those girls are mentored by over 300 college students who identify as female. And those college students have the opportunity to be mentored by over 100 professional women volunteers that serve with us every year. So we have these 3 generations, as we refer to them, involved in the program, and really look to create kind of a trickle-down effect from the several layers of mentoring. We also bring all 3 generations together on various occasions throughout the year, especially pre-COVID, hopefully getting back to that now, so that the girls can also be exposed to the professional women and what those women are doing in their lives and their careers. And I did want to mention, as I always do, that we use the term girl and woman inclusively. So we are inclusive of anybody who identifies as a girl or a woman or is agender or non-binary. And our curriculum is, our program is based on a curriculum, which is one of our other claims to fame. And that curriculum centers around strong female role models. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that now. So our mentoring is centered on the 6 C's of positive youth development. You can see them listed on the screen. This is a framework that is kind of long accepted in the youth mentoring space. But I will say more and more, we are focused on social emotional learning and the importance of that for both kids and adults. So right now we're working to tie those 6 C's of positive youth development to the pillars of SEL and really carry that through all of the work that we're doing. Every mentoring session with our girls is a group session with the girls at a particular site and then a small group of mentors that work with them for the entire semester. They are 90-minute sessions based on a female role model. She might be from history. She might be somebody local. She might be a girl who has done something really amazing in the world, like Marley Diaz, the founder of the 1,000 Black Girl Books campaign. Anybody that can kind of show our girls what's possible for them in the world, regardless of their current situation or barriers that may be facing them in the future. Each session includes what we call roses and thorns, which we also do as a staff, just a chance to share the highs and lows of our week. They learn about the role model. They do a physical activity to get up and moving after school. They have a fun hands-on activity that ties back to the role model, and then they journal. And we have found that this journaling is one of the most critical parts of the program for our girls and their mentors. They write back and forth week to week. And the girls can share anything from the new collar that they got for their dog to something really significant that's happening in their life that they're struggling with. So that we always, reserve about 20 minutes at the end of our session for them to do that and really build those connections with their mentors. And then we have a lot of fun things that happen outside of mentoring sessions. The girls get to take a field trip to the campus that their mentors are from every year. For a lot of them, it's the first time they're seeing a college campus. And we also have something called Jump Into Spring, which brings together our entire community for just a day of celebrating mentorship and celebrating mentorship in our city. We have a program called Role Models in Residence, where professional women come into the mentoring space and serve as a real life role model and share about their career or something they're passionate about. It's not always career focused. Sometimes it's character trait focused, just anything that makes a particular role model unique. And of course, during COVID-19, we adapted all of this to a virtual environment. Thankfully, we are back mostly in person, but we do plan to always keep a hybrid element now that we know how to do it. We didn't have a choice. It really takes the walls off of our program, right? We go to the schools, we meet with the kids in person at the end of their school day, but with virtual, although it's not ideal for the way our model works, we can reach girls anywhere. So, Tiara mentioned expansion, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a few minutes. But that's something, that's in the cards for us as well, is reaching more kids, more girls virtually, where before we had to make sure they had transportation home after school. Maybe we won't have to worry about that as much in the future. And finally, just one other kind of overview item. I did forget to mention, we have 2 locations. Our other location is in Boston, Massachusetts, which is actually where the organization was founded at Harvard University. So this Women's History Month, and kind of with the focus on both multi-generational mentoring and mentoring focused on women and girls, I just wanted to touch on a few of the barriers that we know girls and women face. This is by no means comprehensive, and it is not even comprehensive of why we exist, but just a few reasons why we want to support the women and girls in our community. So one of our key kind of pieces of information that we use to let people know why our work is important is self-confidence. A lot of research has shown that girls' self-confidence peaks around the age of 9 to 11, and it doesn't return to that peak level until she's in her 30s. So, up until that age range of 9 to 11, girls and boys have similar confidence levels. As girls get into adolescence, their self-confidence just plummets, broadly speaking. And so we really look to combat that and show girls that they have everything within themselves that they need to be successful in whatever it is they want to do. And we just work to kind of draw out what's already within them. We also know that women and children of color are exponentially more likely to live in poverty than other groups. And that is more so in Pittsburgh than many similar cities. So I don't know. I think it made national news a few years ago. We had a report come out from our city that illustrated that particularly Black women in Pittsburgh do not have as good of living conditions as in all of our peer cities around the country for the most part. And so knowing that and knowing, what our girls of color are also up against is really important context for us to, again, just be supportive and also do work outside of our programs to try and change what's happening in our city and in Boston as well. We know that women and women of color continue to face barriers to education and workforce entry. And skipping one point, we also know that during the COVID pandemic, women are facing a lot of disproportionate additional burdens at home and losing professional progress as a result. I just attended a professional development course where we talked specifically about women in business. And I believe it was December 2020, or it might have been this most recent December of 2021, 100% of the jobs lost in America were women's jobs that women had held. So it's not great for us at this moment in time. And so again, this is just really important context as we draw people into our community and try to listen and serve them in the best way possible. And additionally, this may seem like it doesn't fit, but food insecurity disproportionately affects residents of under-resourced neighborhoods, most of which in Pittsburgh are predominantly Black. And our program is not addressing food insecurity, so this throws people a little bit sometimes, but this is such a critical need and issue for a lot of the girls that we serve, that we and our mentors need to be aware of that as they're going into the space to work with the girls. We do provide an after-school snack. We actually sent massive 40-some snack packs home during COVID when we couldn't be with the girls in person, trying to just make a dent and support them in whatever way that we possibly could. So that's just, again, another piece of context for how we approach the mentoring space. So finally, kind of the really fun part of where our organization is at. And then I'd love to hear any questions or Tiara touch on anything specifically that I missed. So for SWSG, we are in a brand new strategic plan cycle, and we're just headed in a really exciting direction as an organization. We are exploring expansion to new geographies. We've actually been contacted by about a dozen geographies around the country and even a couple internationally, although that might be a little bit further down the pike. And then we also have a list of areas that we're interested in going to. So we're right now establishing the criteria for transplanting the program. What does a geography have to have in order for us to go there? Of course, our model is very specific. So we need, a significant population of elementary school girls, as well as nearby universities where we can pull mentors from. We're also expanding within Boston and Pittsburgh. So for, Pittsburgh, we're located in Western Pennsylvania. We're looking to really expand to more of Western Pennsylvania and kind of the corner of the state that we're in, and similarly in Massachusetts. And then we are ensuring that our program model can be replicated easily, so that when we come to a new area, we know we have everything down to a science. And so it can really easily be dropped in and engage a whole new population. We're also solidifying our impact statistics. So another thing that we're really lucky to have is a fully fledged monitoring, evaluation, and learning program. So that's something I'm always happy to touch on as well if anybody's interested. A lot of nonprofits our size don't have somebody dedicated to MEL work, and we've been lucky enough to have that for about 3.5 years at this point. So what we're focused on now is gathering statistics that show the long-term progression of our girls. That's what I want to know. I'm sure that's what a lot of you are wondering about. What is the impact on the kids after they leave the 5th grade and as they head into middle school, high school, and beyond? It's information that we've had a hard time gathering over the years. As a small organization, there are capacity issues. There's always contact information issues because we're working with parents, but we want statistics about the girls. So it's a nut we're trying to crack and really be able to track the girls long term. And then, of course, a key part of expansion is creating buy-in from our existing and potential stakeholders and make sure that we have a full team as we move into the future and find new areas to bring our program to. We really believe in what we're doing with having 3 generations of women and girls involved and really impacting our girls and our young women who are in college so that they can become, the future leaders of our country, of our regions, of our world. So it's a really exciting time for us, and I'm glad to be able to share that with you all. So that wraps up kind of my quick overview. Anything I missed and/or any questions I can answer?
I don't think there's anything you missed. I'm a big fan of Strong Women, Strong Girls. They definitely left a huge impact on my career and the work that I try to do. But I will open the floor up to any questions people may have for you, and then we'll jump into a quick breakout discussion. Were there any questions, folks?
Yes, I would wonder whether or not the recruitment process was difficult as it relates to the university. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So each of our universities has a chapter. We refer to them as chapters, and they are actually student organizations on their campus. So that works hugely in our favor because they're well known. They're part of activity fairs, and they have a pretty easy time bringing students on typically. COVID posed a whole other set of challenges with them not being on campus for an entire year. And even this semester, they all started about a month late because of the Omicron. I was like, which variant? One of the variants. So, it's typically not a huge issue. We do have an issue recruiting a diverse population of mentors. Part of that is the makeup of college campuses in Pittsburgh is very much not diverse. So we reached a point where we're more diverse than our campuses in each of our chapters, but it's still something that we're working really hard to, try and improve our recruitment practices.
Thanks.
Oh, I see a question in the chat about self-confidence. So the 6C, the reason we use the 6 C's of positive youth development, which I mentioned, is kind of tied to that. So when we're looking to combat dips in self-confidence, we're looking at confidence and the other C's that surround that and building those up within kids so that they can already have the tools built up to be confident, to know their skills and their talents, to be compassionate, to be competent in the work that they're doing. So that when that dip point approaches, they're in a better place than maybe their peers who haven't had programming in youth development specifically. So that's what our curriculum, in the research that we've done is really designed to do. Other than that, as I mentioned, the 6 C's are less prevalent than they used to be. So that's where we're really starting to turn to SEL research, social emotional learning, and SEL curricula to try and tie those into the work.
Thanks, Kimmy. There's lots of love in the chat. Thank you all for commenting, and for those of you who asked questions. We'll also have another moment or so to tackle any questions that may come up through discussions towards the end. I just wanted to summarize the program that Kim did such a great job explaining of how they work with a set of professional women. Those professional women could be a part of the community. They could be a part of their stakeholder groups, teachers, people on their advisory or board of director committees. They work with college women. And so all of the universities, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania are PWIs. What an area like Virginia brings different to the table are our diverse college campuses and our HBCUs that are down here that would work and pair nicely with some of the surrounding elementary schools. And so just things to think about if becoming a partner with Strong Women, Strong Girls is in the works for this area, or if you may find benefit to this model and bringing some elements of this model into your program. And then finally, having a network of programs and connecting to different generations of women helps Strong Women, Strong Girls cultivate new relationships with elementary schools. And so the model in itself sells itself during recruitment periods to the different groups for all of the people that are involved. And so we are going to go into a few breakout rooms for about 8 minutes or so. As you're in your group, the question I would like you all to ponder and maybe discuss together is as follows. Can your program be inclusive of intergenerational efforts? Even if you can't replicate the model, if that's not in your best interest, or if that's not even, part of your wants, is there a way for your program to be diversified in any way by touching or working with other generations? Or does your program already do this? And is there a way to increase those efforts? And so just some time for you all to share amongst yourselves about what you do for intergenerational work and mentoring. Again, we'll be in the breakout rooms for about 8 minutes, and there are going to be 3 breakout rooms that you'll automatically get assigned to. Before I open the rooms up, are there any questions? Or did I miss anything in the chat? Sandra made a great point that I missed. So thank you, Sandra, for also mentioning military families, huge military bases, and just areas and populations of people that would benefit from such programs or have systems within their population to kind of create or benefit by intergenerational models. So thank you for that. All right, I will see you back at 9:40. Kimmy, if you'd like to jump in the room, you can feel free to do that. You may get some questions in there, just be part of the conversation. I'm also going to jump to a room as soon as I have a chance to touch base with Sarah.
Sounds good.
All right. Can anybody share any conversations that were had in the smaller groups, especially from those smiling folks? Don't tell me we got a shy group today.
Hey, Tia, I don't mind sharing from our group. So our group was unique because we had Cindy, who's, head of Vista leadership. So with her experiences on the programming side, sending Vista members maybe to programs like that. With my side being a partnership here in Alexandria, since I don't have direct contact with the programs, I was able to speak on the programs that do use the intergenerational model. And for them, it's worked, it's sustained. It's been able to go on for several years. I think especially with their focus being on STEM related activities for the mentees and mentors. So they partner up with one of our local universities to use college age students to mentor their middle and high school mentees. And now they're transitioning into now having those college students have adult mentors who are in the field that they are trying to pursue. So they work with George Mason University with their engineering and mathematics department. And what they've been doing is recruiting mentors who are specifically in those fields to kind of assist the college age students and maybe career guidance, just realms like that. So they're bringing in the full generation into it. But they're actually the only program that we currently have that works that way, because our other programs have just expressed sometimes the difficulty of maintaining those relationships with the college area, more so because if the student doesn't stay for the whole time or they leave for break, they just hadn't seen much luck. But that was our experience in our little group.
I appreciate that. They need that champion at any school, but specifically for college because of the way things work there. What was the name of the group? I don't know if you shared it. I didn't hear.
Oh yeah, so the group that works with the college age students is called Decoded. They're actually a branch off of Capital Youth Empowerment Program based in Alexandria and Arlington.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Can I get maybe one more person to share anything that was discussed in your smaller group?
We just had a couple conversations centering around how we are reevaluating. Several of us are kind of looking at what we have and trying to reevaluate ways, especially since COVID brought certain things to light. So that was a little bit of our discussion.
All right, thank you. I will say, I will get back to our presentation in just a moment, but I wanted to use maybe 5 more minutes or so to have just a springboard conversation from where we started about the intergenerational model and talk about like female empowerment and girl programs, and having conversations to plan this coffee hour. Sarah and I were having a conversation and she brought up a really great point, and I would like to hear your take on it. We all know of programs and services that service girls, particularly Black girls or marginalized populations of girls, but there aren't as many programs that cater to boys in the same way. However, there is more research for program providers to help them with boys programming than there are resources to help with girls programming. And so I wanted to know how that resonated with you, if you find that to be a true fact in, your line of work or from your own research, and just, how does that land with you?
I will just say, in our experience working with large, hundreds of girls all around our city at 40 different schools, we actually hear from parents of boys a lot, letting us know that it's great that you have this program. Is there something that my son can get involved in or that my grandson can get involved in? And, we usually point them to Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Pittsburgh. That's the best avenue at this moment for us. But we don't have anywhere else to point them, really. To your point, there isn't a lot. So, but parents are looking for it.
Thanks, Kimmy. I definitely remember that being an issue back in the day, a decade or so ago when I was there. And so there's still just there's just that level of inequity between programs and services. And we know as adults that inequities, they change, but they don't really go away when it comes to the, what women get versus what men get. So all food for thought, all food for thought. I am going to jump back into our presentation, as I want to get to our special announcement and leave some time. But our April community coffee hour, our date is going to be the second Wednesday, as always. That falls on April 13th from 9 to 10 a.m. And we don't have a topic just yet. We have some things in the work and some conversations in the works, but we're curious to know what you all would like to discuss. And so if you wouldn't mind, I know you've probably shared this on your registration when you came in, and we are going to use that as well. But if you wouldn't mind sharing in the chat anything you might be interested in hearing for our next discussion in April or onward throughout the year, or anybody you'd like to recommend to be a guest host, or if you'd like to join yourself a coffee hour to discuss your program or your ideas with the group. I'm just going to leave you guys with a minute to do that, and then we will progress on. All right, thank you. All right, just a couple of announcements. As you all know or may know, Mentor National released their Becoming a Better Mentor resource guide about a month ago. And as a partner affiliate, what we have done, or what we're offering to our clients, is the ability to be able to work with you all and develop a deeper dive conversation or workshop based on one of the chapters, or combining two of the chapters that supports the practice areas of the Becoming a Better Mentor guide. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can contact me. If you haven't downloaded the free resource guide yet, you can feel free to use this link to do so. Of course, this slide deck will be sent to you all after this presentation. Also, if you are interested in referring your program to the Mentoring Connector, there is a way to do that. For more questions, for more information, or if you have any questions about this, you can actually reach out to Ms. Sarah here. Or again, just jump on this link once you get the slide deck and work your way through it to sign up. As always, our no-cost assistance is available if you'd like to work with any one of our graceful and expert consultants. They are on the screen. And finally,
And T, before you move on from that, though, I would just point out that 3 of our consultants specialize in girls programming. So Dr. Nishan Battle, Tammy Mobley, and Bianca Myrick all specialize in different contexts and program models with girls mentoring. So they are here to work specifically with any programs that are interested in girls programming. So just wanted to throw that out there.
thank you, Sarah. And for those of you who were quick to watch me progress in the slide deck and then jump back, introducing our new executive director, who is on the call and just happens to be able to speak to female empowerment. So I'll give that person a quick moment to have the floor. I'd like to congratulate and introduce Dr. Virginia Patterson, who I briefly highlighted at the beginning of the call, who's with us as our AmeriCorps Vista member, but will transition into her new role next week. Ms. Virginia, would you like to say anything?
Very briefly, I'm not a talker like you. I'm a thinker. Good morning, all. Again, I'm really pleased. I'm very humbled to be able to serve alongside this great team. We have a really strong team, as T has indicated, of strong women. So that's even more pleasing. And not to, shun the gentlemen, but we are some powerful women that will intend on doing some powerful things. And more importantly, I really enjoyed the session related to multi-generational mentoring. I feel like I'm the individual in the office that may be the mentor in this capacity for these young people, I like to call them. So having said that, you really touch on some great points I want to have us explore as a team. More importantly, on probably a smaller scale, I should say, but we will be working through our strategic planning process coming up in a couple of months. We're going to establish some time where we'll be sitting as a team and strategizing and prioritizing some of the aspects of the work, and in hopes that we are going to be building Mentor Virginia for sustainability, as well as having a favorable impact on our mentoring programs and working with our partners. So stay tuned. There's more to come from this great team in Mentor Virginia, across the state of Virginia. And we look forward to working with all of you. And hopefully we have something that's you are going to continuously identify with as it relates to our community hours. So we really want to beef that up, meet you where you are in your needs. And that's very important to us as a team and as an organization. So thanks for your time and have a great morning.
Thank you, Virginia. We are excited to have you on board and can't wait to get started under your leadership. See here, there's a lot of love for you in the chat as well. We are coming to the end of our time together. As always, there will be a survey. I'm actually gonna copy that link really quickly and put it in the chat right now. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to complete the survey, let us know how you're doing. Please let us know the conversations you want to be a part of in the future, any topics or presenters you're interested in. And yeah, just thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to stop sharing here and open the floor up to any final questions or comments. All right, so folks, that is our time today. Thank you so much for being here. We will hopefully see you next month. Thank you, Kim, for your presentation and introducing Strong Women, Strong Girls to the team here. And congratulations to Virginia again. I hope you all are wide awake and have great days. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, you're welcome.